Hello and welcome to my video about how to kill the MBT 70 or the Panzer 70. Further on in this video I will refer to these two tanks as the MBT 70. So, how do you kill an MBT 70? Most people would say that you shoot on the left side of the gun where the gunner and the commander sits behind, which will kill the tank because the crew can't operate with less than 2 crew members. But this won't always work, because sometimes the MBT-70s has a tendency to hide behind cover, where they cover their entire tank, and you only get a tiny space where you can shoot it when it drives around the corner. But this might be a problem if you have a tank with the T-34, which this would probably never happen. So, the probability of you in a T-34 versus a MBT-70 is pretty low. But this is a great tank to show off that it's possible for a T-34 or any tank with a big gun to kill an MBT-70 reliable, if you know where to shoot, and also if you know what ammo load to bring. So, over to the next tank, I am going to bring out my Ontos, which is a pretty fun tank to use in custom battles, but not really in real battles because of its 2-man crew, which you can see here. It's pretty easy to kill. So here we are in the tank testing ground on the map TankPolygon, on the newest version that I have installed. And I'm in my T-34 with a 120mm gun, which shoots either armor piercing, high explosive, or armor piercing composite rigged shell, or APCR. And up here we have an MBT-70, which you could, with this tank, which is Russian's big armor piercing run, you could probably kill this. As you see, it's pretty easy to just fire through the spaced armor with this round, but not all tanks can do this. This is... I was pretty surprised that this could actually do this. But nevertheless, that's not the way that I was going to show. So, you can see here on all these tanks that if you have a high explosive round, as I have right now, you can shoot at the gun, at the hatch for the 20mm. If you just hit the very back, if I can shoot correctly, it's a pretty hard shot, but you can do it. There, third one's go. I blew off the entire turret of this thing. But it's because I will show you later why this happens. Here's another reliable kill. And let's see if I can do this. There we go. You see, the high explosive round hits the ammo even through the roof. And even if the armor on the front, like if I shoot here, the high explosive will do nothing. I can just, for showing off that it works on the Panzer 70s, I can shoot them over here. If I just hit perfectly. It's easier with a bigger gun. Well, as you see, the T-34 isn't very good at doing this. But... well, there you saw it. Can pretty easily kill it if you hit at the right spot with a big enough high explosive round. But what if you're from the side and, well, you have a high explosive round loaded? You could either, sometimes you can shoot here. Okay, I shot a double one there, but you can hit here on this turret ring if you have a big enough round, and it will actually kill the tank. You can also hit the back sometimes, Well, the T-34 isn't a very good example for this, but you won't go against many MBT-70s in the T-34. But that's the most reliable spot right there, on the back end of the hatch, on the left side, or if you want to, on the left side of the gun. You can also sometimes shoot, unless it bounces. Once again. But it works. So, over to the next tank. So, welcome back. Here you can see my M103, which is one of my deadliest tanks, I would say, because of its 120mm armor piercing round. This one. You can read the stats yourself. Here's an heat round, which is pretty good. And the HE round, which we are going to focusing on in this video. Just as the T-34, I will show you that, well, this one will easily go through here and kill the tank. You can do this on this side too. And just for comparison, a Kampfpanzer 70. You see? You die pretty easily. And if I... well, that bounced. So, here, an HE round from the M103. It's a pretty big gun, and it actually has pretty good penetration, even if it's just an HE round. So, if you just hit where I told you the last time, on the back side, this one is way easier to do this with, because it has a bigger explosive mass. Here you can hit just straight on top of the turret, and it will kill. And let's see if I can do it on the turret ring this time. There you saw how the ammunition exploded even if I hit it the thickest part of the side. And for comparison, the Kampfpanzer 70, which I failed to kill last time. Let's see if I can just hit straight on. Yes, straight on worked. And the back side, which is where I reliable shoot the most. You see, the entire turret pops off, which is wonderful. Just imagine that a tank stands behind a hill, and the only thing you can see is the MG, or the 20mm autocannon, I guess. And you just shoot the autocannon with a large enough HE, and you will just instantly kill the tank. And if you happen to have just an HE loaded when you come from the side, where you usually shoot straight into the just cabin where most of the crew is, just hit the back of here, or reliable, I would say, on this ring. Let's try if I can do this. Yep, as you see, it's pretty easy, and it's just most of the time, I would say 9 out of 10 times with the M103, I will one-hit these things with HE. And just to prove that this doesn't work with armor piercing. You probably guessed this, but here we go. You see, you will probably just disable the 20mm. This might work. Oh, that worked. So, over to the next tank, the M50, or the Ontos. So, welcome back. Here you can see the M50 Ontos. And I have loaded up all Hesh rounds, because it's what you need. I don't have any tanks with a smaller Hesh round, so I can't really test anything else. But I know that the 152mm penetration Hesh rounds will kill the MBT 70s or the Kampfpanzer 70s pretty easy if you just hit the right places. So, well, I will just say this straight away. This is a pretty hard tank to aim, but what you want to aim for is this optics. This one here, this one here. You might be able to do it as the HE round. I doubt it, but let's see if I can hit it. Oh. as you saw, the Hesh round hits the optics, and because the Hesh rounds are so sensitive to whatever they hit, it doesn't go straight through as the HE round does. Oh. So, yeah. As you see, it's pretty hard to hit with this thing, and I would say it's a super close quarter tank, and it's pretty fun to just drive around towns. But if you can get on target, see if I can do it. See, if you just hit the optic with a Hesh round, you will kill the tank with a 152mm penetration. This mostly looks at the Ontos and the British tanks. And in this TankPolygon map I have fast reload on because, well, it's easier to show. Let's see if I can hit the Panzer 70. As you see, you don't have to hit much. You just have to. If you hit the thing, you will mostly kill it. Let's see if I can hit the lamp thing. Well, that doesn't work as good, but if you hit this tall optic, you will kill the tank most of the time. And yeah, so this is the Ontos. So, back here. So why does this HE rounds and the Hesh rounds kill this thing so easily just by hitting the top? Well, I will show you. As you see, the armor is pretty thin here, it says. But if you look in the X-ray, it says that it has this spaced armor, which the kinetic energy ammunition is basically armor-piercing rounds, or just rounds that doesn't have any explosive in them, or lethal explosive in them. And the chemical energy ammunition is mostly heat rounds, which has chemical penetration, which I won't go into. But as you see, under here, it says that around the mag of the 20mm, there is space armor, which makes this area around here really thick. But if you look at the armor on the top here, you can see it's only 20mm. So if you have an HE round, which has more than 20mm of penetration, if you just hit this turret ring of the 20mm, or this part of the hatch, then you will most likely go through here, and as you can see under here is the ammunition of the tank, which will most likely explode. Or if you shoot from the side here, you will have a high possibility of either exploding the ammo of the 20mm, which will kill the crew if it does explode, or it will probably hit this ammo stack back here. And as you saw with the Hesh round, well, if you hit this optics, which the Hesh rounds can hit the optics and explode, but the HE round can't, it will explode here and penetrate either this 20mm outlining here, or this 50mm outlining here. But that doesn't matter much, because the Hesh round has a tendency to go through over 100mm most of the time, which will just, as you saw in the previous clips, outright either kill the crew or hit the ammo and kill the tank. And also, the reason why if you shoot straight on the gun, why it works, because you can see that this armor here protects this, so you have to go through these two layers to get here, is because if you look down here, there is actually a hole down to where there's a 25mm plate under the gun, which is hard to see. But if you hit, you can explode, and then some shrapnel can go down and hit the shells down here, and just that will outright kill the tank too. So that's my tutorial on how to kill MBT 70s and how I usually do it. when they hide behind cover and it's hard to kill them. So, that was all for me. Bonus clip. Here you see the FV405, the doomsday cannon of the British. The 183mm Hesh round, which is pretty much overkill versus anything it hits. So, just to prove that the MBT-70 can tank this round, we shoot here where the weak spot is, where most people say it is. And as you saw, it just tracked it and its barrel got damaged. But now you have a 40+ second reload and, well, he doesn't, so this fight is over. But if we repair him, as you see, the mark is gone and he's not damaged, as you can see on the cam. The tracks is repaired. If I just hit this optic, well, there you go, he's dead. If I hit the gun with this thing, because it's an Hesh round is basically a giant high explosive, and, well, on this thing it pretty much outright kills most things, and you can hit the turret with this thing, kills it. You can hit this armor plate, which I said was the most reliable, kills it. And just for comparison, the TankPolygon over here hits the gun, dead. Hits the optic, also dead. So, as you can see, it's a strong gun. You probably won't go against this thing much in this thing, or the MBT won't go against this much. And just to prove that, well, this round, okay, the M60 Rise is probably not the best idea, but let's just shoot at the Rise armor, or the explosive reactor era armor, whatever. So let's fire. As you saw, well, the first shot obviously just removed all of the explosive reactive armor, and if I hit again, this will probably just annihilate it. It actually didn't. I'm actually surprised about that. Well, the IS-6 then. The terror of the low tiers. If I just hit here, you see it just outright kills anything. So yeah, bonus clip.